You said very interesting thing while introducing my book, that if you don't like to read books, then you can read Amrut's book. So that sounds like a chicken egg situation. I don't like to read books, and you are asking me to read a book to learn how to read a book. That's very interesting. But yeah, if you're not, you hate reading book, but you have the guilt of not reading, then I would request you at least have to read this book. I'm very sorry for that. But then the good part is the book is not more than 60 pages. So I usually say it's not a book, it's booklet, pun intended. And well, if you don't want to read, this is the right opportunity, because I'm going to share all the big ideas that I have mentioned in my book. Uh, so, how many of you doze off after reading 5 pages, 4 or 5 pages? Just raise your hand. How many of you doze off? Okay, Ashwini is very honest to raise her hand. Others, okay. So when once I asked this question in a seminar, there were 1,000 people. Almost everybody raised their hand, and one boy did not raise. So I got very curious. I asked him, "Oh, good, very good. So you don't doze off after 5 pages?" So no, you said 5 pages. Na, I doze off after one page. So that's why I did not raise my hand. So when I say 5 pages, don't take it literally. What I mean is, do you doze off while reading, quickly? And we know this is very common. There is nothing wrong in it. You don't have to feel guilty about it. I doze off after reading. A booklet guy who's on mission Make India Read, who reads one book a day, also dozes off. In fact, I have a special section. There are some 4 or 5 books on my bookshelf. So if I'm suffering from sleep deprivation, नींद नहीं आ रही है, so I pick up one of those books. I call them as sleeping book pills. तो नींद नहीं आती है तो उसमें से निकालूंगा, और 5 मिनट में I'm in my deep sound sleep. Now please don't ask the name of the authors. That will be quite insulting. Definitely not my own book, that's for sure. Uh, well, let me start with the first habit. That's what I've already started, because we doze off after reading 5 pages. Do you have this guilt that I get started with the book with a lot of enthusiasm, but then after a few pages I lose that interest? खुश हो जाता है सब. उसने तो बोला था वो बुक बहुत अच्छी है, and that's why I borrowed it from him or her. But मुझे क्यों नहीं पसंद आ रही है? What, something is wrong with me. No, no, reading is not my cup of tea. No, I'm a bad reader. Do you have this guilt of leaving many books half read? No, there are hardly any books that you have completed till the last page. No, I believe I'm speaking your mind, because I was not in a different situation 5 years ago. When I started getting invitations across the world, when the mission just shot up in numbers and started reaching out to all the corners of India. People started inviting me at talk shows, public interviews, seminars. And after the seminar, there were common questions that started popping up, that Amrut, the question that I raised right now, neend aati hai, I'm a slow reader, I don't remember what I read. Yeah. I leave books half read. And that gave me a calling, that it is my national duty to find creative solutions to these reading problems. Because I realized that even these are my problems. Even I struggled with these problems. Yeah. It was difficult for me to remember everything after reading the book. And so I thought I should write a book on reading and find some creative solutions to these reading problems as Booklet Guy of India. And finally, I started experimenting with a lot of my reading habits, and they manifested into 7 habits, which I'm going to discuss today. The 7 habits of highly effective readers, written by me, not by Stephen Covey. So as a tribute to one of the favorite authors who has written the famous book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So I adapted his name and simply replaced the name people with readers. Well, the first habit will come to you as a very big surprise. And the name of the first habit is, let me read out from the index. It says, don't take reading too seriously. हाँ, मैं बोल रहा हूँ. Who is on mission Make India Read. Don't take reading too seriously. Now here the keyword is too. तो आप तुरंत अभी चलो अमृत ने बोला डोंट टेक रीडिंग सीरियसली, चलो सेशन खत्म, मैं जा रही हूँ, ऐसा नहीं है. The keyword is too, T-double-O. Don't take reading too seriously. What do I mean by this? Why am I saying don't take reading too seriously? Uh, when I get this question that, I leave the book half read and then I feel the guilt of not reading the entire book. और फिर जब नया बुक लेते हैं तो दिमाग में आता है अरे पहला वाला बुक खत्म नहीं किया और मैंने नया लिया. And we are lost in that loop of guilt. Okay. So my counter argument on this is that when it comes to movies, for example, हम कितने सारे मूवीज अधूरे छोड़े हैं ऑन नेटफ्लिक्स, ऑन यूट्यूब. कभी कुछ तो मैंने थिएटर से भी छोड़ दिया है मैंने. थग्स ऑफ हिंदुस्तान वाज अ मूवी जो मैंने जिंदगी का सबसे बड़ा पाप किया होगा, जो मैंने रिकमेंड किया बिकॉज आमिर खान इज माय फेवरेट हीरो. तो मैंने दोस्तों को बोला चलो ये पिक्चर बहुत अच्छी लग रही है, सिनेमाटोग्राफी अच्छी है. आज तक गाली खाता हूँ दोस्तों की. एंड वी लेफ्ट द मूवी हाफ वे इन द इंटरवल, and I still owe the price of the tickets to all my friends. So when it comes to movies, we don't take things too seriously. Do you have this guilt? Oh, that I left that movie half watched. I insulted that Amir Khan. So I am a bad movie watcher. Do you say this? You don't say it. Why? Because you take them too casually. Yeah. And second reason, you transfer the onus, the responsibility to entertain you on the directors, on the movie makers. Yes or no? You don't take the blame. But when it comes to reading, you take all the blame. As if the author is from some another planet and it is you are under an obligation to read. Why? Don't you think it is also the responsibility of the author to keep you engaged, to keep you excited? It's not all your fault. Right? Same like movies. I'll give you another analogy. Suppose there is a seminar in the physical world, and you are as part of the audience, you are waiting for the speaker to take charge of the podium. The speaker comes, suit boot mein aa raha hai, mast, and he starts talking, but he has no energy, is lacking the charisma, wandering off the topic, very boring. Okay, बहुत slow बोल रहा है. Nothing is exciting in that speech. What will you say as part of the audience? अरे ये किसको लेके आ गए, पका रहा है बहुत, right? And either your hand will go into the pocket to take out your favorite instrument, the electronic instrument, or या फिर आप पतली गली से निकल जाओगे. I hope you understand the language of Mumbai. Bollywood is everywhere, so I'm sure you know this. So now, see, if the same person writes a book, the person who was giving you the speech, which we did not like, you did not clap. If the same person writes a book and somehow that book lands in your hands, oh, I have to read word to word. उसने recommend किया है book. Are you getting my point? See, the same message, same person, okay, but the whole approach towards the message changes when the medium changes. How foolish is that? अगर किसी का भाषण नहीं पसंद आया तो नहीं ताली बजाना है मुझे भाई, जबरदस्ती है क्या? I hope you are getting my point. My intention is not to insult the authors, okay? My intention is to remove the guilt from your minds that there is nothing called good reader or bad reader. There is only reader and non-reader. All right? So it's okay. It's okay to leave books half read. मैंने भी सैकड़ों books अधूरे छोड़े हैं. In fact, I've read almost 1,966 books till now. And the more books I'm reading, the more books I'm leaving half read now. Because I can actually predict, अरे ये तो मुझे पता है, ये तो इधर पड़ा है, अरे ये तो repeat है, this is old wine in new bottle. Right? Just looking at the index and just skimming, I get some intuition. Do I really need to read this book or not? All right. So my fifth book of my life and my 1,900 book of my life is a huge compound effect, which unfortunately I can't explain to you in words because it's invisible. No, it's abstract. The power that you gain after reading book after book after book after book, tremendous confidence. Now today, I have not prepared a single word for today's session. बस 5 मिनट पहले थोड़ा चकाचक दाढ़ी किया, शेव किया, and I'm here. And I just was finding a copy of my book so that I'll display it to you. Yeah. Well, so don't take reading too seriously, because if something is important to you, don't make it special. Make it casual, because habits are casual. You look at all your daily habits जो आप almost रोज करते हो. know, Gossiping, chatting on WhatsApp, watching YouTube videos, entertain wale videos, right? They are all watching TV. They're all so casual and hence habitual. And things which are habitual are most of the time casual. So it's a complete virtuous circle. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Are you getting my point? So when we ask such questions that, Amrut, what is the right time to read a book? Morning time में बोलते हैं कि ज़्यादा समझ में आता है. Okay, maybe there is a scientific evidence that you might grasp and learn more during morning hours. But do you ask this question when somebody asks me what is the right time to read a book? I counter question that what is the right time to chat on WhatsApp? What is the right time to listen to YouTube music? वो तो ऐसे ही हो जाता है. What is the right time to eat वड़ा पाव? हाँ? ये तो इसके लिए तो कोई rules नहीं है. I'm not against reading in the morning. I tried this idea. But if at all for some reason I fail to read in the morning, I get a very, very convenient excuse. अच्छा, तो अभी पूरे दिन में नहीं पढ़ना है, अभी अगले दिन. Okay, so that did not work for me. By the way, see, I think the name of my book is quite misleading. These are my experiments, my way of reading. It's not the 7 habits of highly effective readers of the दुनिया में जो पढ़ रहे हो उनके बारे में नहीं है. These are my personal and they have worked for me. So there is a better chance that it might work for you as well. That's all. All right. So these are not the laws of reading or the rules of reading. Unlike Robert Greene, who writes 48 laws of power and for laws of human nature. वो नहीं है. These are not the laws of reading. Okay. These are the results of my personal experiments, which few experiments failed, few experiments succeeded, and ones which have succeeded are part of this book. So I hope you get my point that habits are casual. Okay, I know it's quite counterintuitive. If something is important to you, don't make it special, make it casual. But you got the point that anyway, जो चीजें हम कर रहे हैं on a mechanical level, they're so casual. There are hardly any rules for that. Okay.